TheJbeans.net.
Key West is an island city that is part of the Florida Keys and is the southernmost piece of land in the continental United States. The island is located about 160 miles southwest of Miami and 90 miles north of Cuba, and is bordered by both the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. In this video, we'll provide an overview of our December 2019 visit to Key West, when our ship, the Disney Magic, docked at Pier B on the west side of the city. Please note there are 3 cruise docks in Key West. Ships that dock at Mallory Square and Pier B are located just steps away from many popular attractions. However, passengers on ships that dock at the Navy's Outer Mole Pier are required to take a complimentary shuttle through the naval base to explore Key West on foot. We checked Key West's website prior to our visit to determine where our ship was scheduled to dock, and we've linked to the website in the description below. During our visit, we explored Key West on foot and by riding the city's free Duval Loop bus service. The hop-on, hop-off service makes 18 stops in the tourist area of Key West, and the city's website includes a map of the route and a link to real-time tracking of the bus. We've linked to the website and a map of the places we visited in the description below. After disembarking from the ship, we walked from Pier B toward Mallory Square. Along the way, we passed the Key West Art and Historical Society building, where our Jelly Bean enjoyed taking photos with artwork located outside. There were a number of shops and markets in and around Mallory Square, including the Key West Sponge Market. The market's Sponge Man is a popular photo op, and restrooms were located nearby. The Key West Historical Memorial Sculpture Garden was also located in the area and featured busts of people who have had a significant impact on the city. And the nearby Cultural Center featured a restaurant, gift shop, and museum that offer a glimpse into the island's Cuban heritage. Restrooms were available inside. From Mallory Square, we crossed Wall Street to the lime-colored Kermit's Key West Key Lime Shop, which offered free samples of their many key lime-flavored products. We exited Kermit's on the Front Street side and continued north to the Duval Street intersection, which had a CVS on the corner. We followed a sign at the intersection that pointed the way to Simonton Beach and continued along Front Street until we reached Simonton Street, where we turned left to stop by one of the 2 beaches we visited while in port. Simonton Beach is a small beach located about a 5 to 10 minute walk from the Mallory Square and Pier B docks. Key West is not known as a beach destination because the 3rd largest coral barrier reef system in the world protects it from the large waves, and most of the beaches in the Florida Keys are man-made. After visiting the beach, we headed back inland toward Front Street and continued along Simonton Street to Key West First Legal Rum Distillery, which was appropriately named since it claimed to be the first legal rum distillery in Key West. During our visit, guests were offered a free tour of the distillery and 1 free sample of rum. And you could sample all the rums if you purchased one of the distillery's shot glasses. As we continued further inland along Simonton Street, we stopped at the Hemingway Rum Company's Papa's Pilar Rum Distillery at the intersection of Green Street. Samples of the rum were available for free, but a fee was charged for the hourly distillery tour. From the distillery, we followed Green Street northeast to another Kermit's Key West Key Lime Shop, which was full of the same products as the other shop, but was significantly less busy. Daddy Bean took the opportunity to enjoy one of his favorite desserts, a delicious slice of key lime pie. We continued to walk northeast along the water to the Cuban Coffee Queen, where I ordered a café con leche. The side of the building featured a large painted mural of a vintage Key West postcard, which was a nice photo op. A large wooden directional distance sign that is commonly used to depict Key West was also located nearby and made for another fun photo op. With our sightseeing on the northwestern side of the city complete, we took the Duval Loop bus to South Beach. The real-time tracking of the bus made it easy to finish up our key lime pie and coffee just in time to hop on board. South Beach is a public beach with a small pier that is located on the southwest side of the island, at the end of Duval Street. Leaving the beach, we walked southwest along South Street to the historic Southernmost house, which was built in the late 1800s and was the southernmost private residence in the United States and is now an adults-only hotel. We continued walking to the intersection of Whitehead Street, where a long line of tourists were waiting to take their photo with a large iconic southernmost point of the continental USA concrete buoy. Because of the long line, and the fact that the landmark is not technically the southernmost point in Key West, we decided to not stand in line and simply stood to the side and took our selfie while those in line switched out for photos. We did take a moment to read the historical marker on the nearby unassuming concrete building. According to the marker, the building was put in place over 100 years ago to protect the connection between the landline and underwater telegraph line that linked Key West and Havana, Cuba. Since we were only about a mile from our cruise ship, we decided to continue walking along Whitehead Street and reach the Key West Lighthouse and Keepers Quarters Museum, about 5 minutes down the road. The lighthouse was built in 1848, and visitors can walk the 88 steps to the top for a fee to experience the highest viewpoint on Key West. Just across the street from the lighthouse is the Ernest Hemingway Home and Museum, which offers tours of the author's estate and gardens for a fee. Continuing along Whitehead Street, we came to the very popular Mile Marker Zero photo op that marks the beginning and end of U.S. Highway 1, which stretches from Key West to the Canadian border in Maine. During our visit, there were a few groups waiting to take a photo with a US 1 Begin sign, so we crossed the street and took our photo with the US 1 End sign, which seemed to have gone unnoticed by other tourists. Further along Whitehead Street, we came to the birthplace of Pan American World Airways. The historic building was home to a brewery and restaurant during our visit. On the opposite side of Whitehead Street were Key West historic presidential gates, which have welcomed U.S. presidents and other dignitaries since 1906. We took a bit of a detour through the gates along Caroline Street to the Truman Little White House, which was the winter White House for President Harry S. Truman. Tours of Florida's only presidential museum are available for a fee. Backtracking to the gates, we continued walking along Caroline Street. We passed the Captain George Carey House, which reportedly sits on the site where pirates discovered fresh water in the 1700s. And then we came to the Bull and Whistle Bar and the Garden of Eden clothing optional bar at the intersection of Duval Street. We didn't visit the bars, but we turned left on Duval Street toward our ship and eventually came to Sloppy Joe's Bar, which has been at the corner of Duval Street and Green Street since 1937. Around the corner on Green Street is Captain Tony's Saloon, which was immortalized by Jimmy Buffett's song Last Mango in Paris, and features numerous license plates, bras, and dollar bills attached to the ceiling. The saloon was the original location of Sloppy Joe's Bar and was frequented by Ernest Hemingway at the time. A large preserved fish sits atop the saloon sign outside, and it's said that throwing a quarter backwards into the mouth of the fish will give you good luck until you leave the island. As we headed back to the ship to leave the island, we realized that perhaps the lucky fish should have been the first stop on our Key West adventure.